As promised, I did say I was going to have a special guest in the studio, and she is an American singer and songwriter, Jo Potter. Welcome to 1FM 91.3, Jo.
Thank you for having me.
So nice to have you come specially for this interview. I think that some of our 1FM listeners are just awaiting to hear you sing.
Oh, I can't wait for them to listen to me.
And she's actually brought along her guitarist, Jeremiah.
Hello, hello.
Okay, can you hear him in the background? Well, in a short while, we'll get to the music, but let's just start by asking you, like, which part of America that you're from?
I'm from Miami.
Oh, okay, lovely place. I think to Singaporeans, they used to watch Don Johnson.
Yeah, I always make the joke, Singapore is just like Miami, but without the guns.
Okay. But we do have a small beach. Our beach is really small. It's like East Coast beach. I think if you go to East Coast, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a really small beach. So many Singaporeans would love to go to Miami, I'm sure, to experience, the beautiful beach. And of course, let's get to your music, because I think that the reason why you're here tonight is also to tell us more about this very exciting album. It's titled Tonight, which debuted at number 36 on the Billboard Top 40 indicator chart. So what is this album all about?
This album is actually about a bunch of, it's about anthems. So when I write music, I write a lot of different types of music. And when I decided what this project was going to be about, it's about anthems to your life. Whether it's that you are having a breakup, or you're in love, or that you're just celebrating a moment of your life. I wanted everything to have just something to resonate with everyone.
I like that, anthems, and that's really special, because not often do I hear an artist say that I'm developing an album, based on anthems, and that can certainly, like you said, resonate with all kinds of people from all backgrounds. Yeah. Doesn't matter whether you're rich, you're poor, but you experience certain things in relationships as well. Yeah, so let's maybe hear one of the songs that is featured on this album.
Okay.
Tonight. So what is the song that you want to play?
So the song is called Baby I Am Yours. And just a little bit of background, when I write music, sometimes I hear melodies and other melodies. And there's there's a pop star right now, his name is Andy Grammer, and he wrote a song called Fresh Eyes. And that song is about how he sees his girlfriend or his wife. She gets dressed up and he's like, wow, I see you for the first time. So what I did is I wrote a melody in his melody, and it's a response about being that woman or pretending that I'm that woman, and how he's seeing me and how that makes me feel. All
right, I think we can't wait to hear your beautiful voice, because they've heard the trailer on One of Them Love Songs. So now let's hear, this acoustic version right here in the studio of 1FM 91.3. Jo Potter for you. Ready?
Yeah.
High like the wind, far beyond the clouds.
heard it. Joe Potter for you right here on one of them love songs and Baby I'm Yours. Yeah, lovely song there. And you've also done some opening for the Go-Go's, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And that was in Miami.
That was.
Guess what? The next song that we're going to play on 1FM 91.3 is from Belinda Carlisle. And this is titled Circle in the Sand. More on Joe Potter in just a while. And we're going to find out something really interesting that, not many people know about her. So that juicy bit in a moment. Only on 1FM 91.3. My special guest in the studio is Joe Potter, the American singer and songwriter. And she's brought along her guitarist, Jeremiah, as well. Now, something that, not many people know about you is that you're classically trained. Interesting. So tell us more about, what you play.
So I was classically trained in flute,
Mm-hmm.
and I also taught myself piano and I taught myself guitar, although I really consider myself a hack when it comes to playing any other instruments. I took vocal lessons and was trained in that way too. But yeah, I really say I only play other instruments to defend myself.
But you started from a very young age singing, yes?
Yeah, I was 3 years old.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. And was this like in school?
I was really just singing to the radio, and then my mom was like, wow, she can really sing, and got me in front of audiences and crowds, and just sort of happened from there.
I think the one of them listeners are just enjoying your voice, including some of my colleagues who may be tuning in, or my bosses. So let's hear more music from you in just a moment. But let's talk about your musical background. Do you come from, this very interesting musical family, or is it just only you that's musical?
No, well, it's funny because I am the last of 4 children,
Mm-hmm.
and we all play an instrument. But really where it comes from is my grandparents on my father's side. But it skipped a generation because my father doesn't play anything, but he plays jokes on me. That's what all he does.
Same like me.
Yeah, that's what he plays.
Okay.
But as far as taking it farther, I was really the only one in as far as my siblings to take it anywhere.
I wish I had that gift, to sing so well as you do. But, if there's one person that you had to credit, that really had a good impact on your life, who would this person be?
Definitely, it's hard to sort of narrow down to just one person. I would say throughout my life has definitely been my dad. My dad has been somebody, my confidant, my mentor, someone that I've always trusted to go to, no matter how serious or how insignificant sometimes it seems. It's been my dad.
What are some good values that he taught you in life?
He taught me to be honest. Always be honest about things, and I think that resonates in my music, is just being honest about my feelings and treating people well.
I think that's so important in today's world as well, as we, continue to evolve in our society. Honesty is so very important, and that's what we always stress, to our one of them listeners, right? So be honest with yourself at the same time, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I have one of my favorite songs from your album tonight. I've been listening to it, at home a lot, and it's titled For You, Sarafina's Lullaby. Tell us who this song was written for.
So the song was written for my daughter. Her name is Sarafina, and she came into, I was sleeping and at night one time, and she came into my room and she snuck into bed with me, and I remember the early morning where she was quiet, which I was super appreciative of, and just that moment of her being quiet and the whole house being quiet, and it was a bit bittersweet because I know that time is fleeting and it won't last. So I wanted to capture that moment in a song.
Let's hear this song right here on one of them love songs. It's a beautiful number.
Thank you.
I love it.
Woke up this morning with you next to me. There's no place that I'd rather be. Every day that passes by, wanna be by your side. And I can't believe you found me. You make me feel like There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for you. For you, for you. Laying in silence with your arms around me, I can feel your body move every time you breathe. No, I don't want to let go. Gotta hold onto all I know. I want to stay in this moment. You make me feel like I belong with you. There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do. You make me feel like I belong with you. There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for you. For you. Please don't wink. Please don't move. Let me take this chance with you. You make me feel like I belong with you. There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do. You make me feel like I belong with you. There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for you. For you, for you, for you, for you.
Oh my gosh, that's a real lullaby, I must say. Well done, Joe Potter, American singer and songwriter here on One of Them Love Songs, and that's a song titled For You, Sarafina's Lullaby. And it makes so much sense, when you told me that it was really written for your daughter.
Yeah. And it's really funny because there's a lyric there where it's like, I can't believe you found me. And some of it's a little bit sort of sarcastic because it's like, I can't believe you found me.
Well, I think a lot of parents who are listening in, many of our One of Them listeners are parents. I think they can really, relate to that song. It's beautiful, very touching. And coming up, we're going to talk about the good four-letter word. It's L-O-V-E. You're just in time to catch, Joe Potter. I think that I ran the trailer for a few days, so you might have caught that voice, beautiful voice. Some people were asking, who is that lady, with that beautiful voice? She is an American singer, Joe Potter. She's in the studio with me right here and with a guitarist, Jeremiah. And I'd like to say hello to the folks who just joined us in their car.
Hi, everybody.
And of course, we've been talking so much about your album tonight, right? And your album obviously, deals also with relationships. But let's talk about love, that four-letter word, the good four-letter word. Now, your songs, of course, have that very heartfelt emotion to the lyrics, I believe. And one of them is actually a line that says, suffering in silence, wishing that the pain would end, praying to see you again. So why did you write this song called Waiting?
So Waiting, I wrote this song for a friend of mine, and he had just gone through a very traumatic experience where he had a best friend who was like a family member and someone really, really close. And she, out of nowhere, just stopped talking to him. and wouldn't give him any reason why. And it set him off into depression to the point that he tried to commit suicide.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and so I wanted to sort of show him how much his emotion and sharing that with me had meant to me, and so I captured it in a song. And later I had explained to him, I realized that, because he's a very dear friend to me, and I realized that if I had lost him due to his depression, that's how I would feel. I'd be suffering my silence, and yeah.
That's a reality in life today, and not many people take note of, some people who may be hurting deep inside, even though they don't really show it on the surface, right? So you may not know, but I do believe that, there are people out there, and this thing about, not giving any reason and just not talking to someone, that's really painful, and it shuts so many doors, and you just can't seem to understand, like, why would someone do that to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the term for it right now is called ghosting, and I'm really just not a big fan of this. I think that you just, again, it's coming back to what my father taught me about being honest and authentic, and also be brave. Like, you don't have to run away. You can just tell somebody, I don't want to talk to you because of this, or you just like sort of talk about your feelings, and I think that also helps people to navigate through their own feelings.
Even if they're afraid to address an issue, don't run away. That's what I believe. Face the person. At least, give that person
closure.
Closure, or at least, honor the person for being with you or being close to you enough to want to share, whether it's, going to turn out bad or not. So what is the most painful lesson for you personally, that you've learned about love?
For me, I think that love is a pendulum, and it swings in both ways. And as good as it can be, it can also rip you to shreds. And what I think I've learned about that is that when you're on the worst side of it, it will swing back the other way, and you'll find it again.
Well, we can't wait to hear this song called Waiting, very touching, moving song, tonight on 1FM Love Songs, and it's from the album Tonight. So can we hear it? Joe Potter for you on 1FM Love Songs with a guitarist, Jeremiah.
Standing on the platform, missed another train, achingly broken, carrying the blame, and I don't know when I will see you again. Hold on, hold out, and until then, I will be waiting, I will be waiting, I will be waiting for you, waiting for you. Walking past the place we met, it's hurting just to breathe. Overwhelming sadness, still I can't believe. I'll replay everything we said again and again, searching for answers, and until then, I will be waiting, I will be waiting, I will be waiting for you, and I will be waiting, I will be waiting, I will be waiting for you. Time is no friend of mine, again and again. I'm suffering in silence, wishing that this pain would end, praying to see you again, and until then, and I will be
the voice of Joe Potter here on 1FM Love Songs, and that's live here in the studio of 1FM 91.3. And Joe, could you give everybody, your Instagram ID so that, they can follow you?
Yeah, it's Joe Potter Rocks, ROCKS.
And don't forget to hashtag 1FM913 if
That's
you
right.
got a question for her.
Yeah, if you guys want and you want to reach out to me, come to my Instagram page or my Facebook page, but you have to hashtag 1FM913. And then I promise I will respond.
Well, more of Joe Potter right here on one of the Love Songs in just a moment. So stay with us here on this show. You've chosen the right station to also, listen to Joe Potter. She's on the air right now live. And, if you want to follow her once again on Instagram, what is the ID?
It's Joe Potter Rocks.
Okay, and in case you're just wondering, who is Joe Potter? Well, she's an American singer-songwriter, and she's performed in many places, even at the Montreux Jazz Festival.
That's right. That was a great festival to play at. I mean, everybody who's big plays there. I mean, you can't even imagine, from Snoop Dogg to Phil Collins. I mean, it's just a wide gamut of artists.
Well, thank you for joining us here in the studio today and doing this live acoustic, singing of your songs, and most of them from your third album, your newest album.
Yeah.
It's titled Tonight. So let's talk a little bit about, your being, just a person besides your being a singer and songwriter. I think it's always interesting to let the listeners of 1FM know who you really are. So who do you spend the most time with in your personal life?
I'm a single mom, a newly single mom, I should say. And so I spend a lot of time with my kids. I spend a lot of time with my son, Bram, and my daughter, Sarafina. And when I'm not spending time with them or working, I'm spending time with my friends. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I take my hat off to you, really, because I was raised by a grandmother single-handedly. Yeah, she took care. So I know what it is for, one person to take care of the entire family. So it's so... it takes a lot, really,
Yeah, I mean, and what's really fantastic about being here is, I have a helper, actually, but that still requires management. I mean, it's a lot of, especially with my travel schedule and music and everything that goes on, and making sure, I try not to be so kiasu with my kids. But
you learned that local word.
Yeah, but truth is I kind of am. And
yes.
there's a lot of things to manage. So yeah.
Talking about your friends, right? What does friendship mean to you?
Friendship is just an extension of my family. So, but it's even better because you get to choose your friends. You don't always get to choose your family. And so I think friends are actually even more special because you chose them.
And what is the next song that you're going to play for our 1FM listeners?
I'm going to do a song called No Apology.
Okay, let's hear this one.
All right. What you want is what I got. What I got is what you need. When I lay it down on you, I'm gonna bring you to your knees. And you can beg me to stop, but enough is not enough. Well, you got to give it up. You got to give it up to me. I'm gonna move over you like the ocean. I'm gonna crash onto you like the waves. I'm gonna take you higher than any emotion. And just when you think it is over, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. contain. And there's no need to worry, I'm not running game. I just need to feel you close. 'Cause I'm gonna move over you like the ocean. I'm gonna crash onto you like the waves. I'm gonna take you higher than any emotion. And just when you think it is over, just when you think it is over, just when you think it is over, I'm gonna do it again. Baby, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
American singer and songwriter Joe Potter for you on one of them love songs. And you know, Joe, as a singer and songwriter, when do you write songs? I mean, does it just come into your head, that melody, while you're in the shower, or does it happen to you when the whole world is fast asleep and you're the only person awake?
Well, you know, it happens two ways. For me, it happens when I'm really emotive. And then all of the words and the music and melody, it all comes out at once. So it's either I'm feeling something and I'm really emotional. The other way is I also hear melodies and other melodies. So there's music everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, like when you're on the subway, wherever you are, you can hear like these like little obscure melodies, and I just take out my recorder and I play them. But when I really work on them is probably at night, when it's a little magical.
When do your really, like creative juices come in for songwriting, when you write the lyrics?
Yeah, it's really just a matter of, when I'm emotive, like when you make me really happy, or I'm in love, or you make me really, really angry. And then you don't want me to write a song about you, because I'll sing it over and over and over.
Oh boy. Yeah, so what is your philosophy in life? I think that's a very, very big question, but one of them listeners would love to hear this question, because I've been asking this question to different guests each week or every fortnight. So for you, Joe Potter, what is your philosophy for life?
So at my core, at my real core, it's about love. And so I think that when you, like one of the most important things, I think when you're on your deathbed and you are surrounded by your loved ones, and the last thing that you say is not, or should not be, I left the money in the third drawer. It should really be, I love you. And this, I think, is so profound. And I really think that love makes us, the capacity to love and the capacity to be loved, makes us the best we can ever be. So I strive to love, to allow people to love me, and to reach my fulfillment through that.
Thank you, Joe Potter, for being on one of them love songs. Beautiful singing and interview. So I think before you leave the studio, you've got one more song to give us. Do you? No? Okay, never mind. We'll save it for discovering you on Spotify and of course YouTube, and following your Instagram account.
Yeah, and if you write to me on Instagram account, my Instagram account again is Joe Potter Rocks. You have to hashtag 1FM913. And then I promise I will respond.
All right. Joe Potter, thank you for being on our show. And of course, I've had the wonderful company of Jeremiah, who's accompanying on guitar, right? And thanks for joining us here on One of Them.